We're doing that first.
You want that?
Thank you, Brian. I don't know if I need it, but I'll do it anyway. Well, good morning. This has been my favorite part of the entire process. The hardest part is being 12 weeks eating like Santa. I have had more cookies than the last 25 years. They're spectacular, but it's getting to me, and I've been gray for the first time in my life. So thank you, campaign. It is wonderful to be with you this morning. My name is Tim Wilkins. If you haven't seen me, my background, I'm a Marine veteran, a business owner. Oh, we're barking this. Oh. My wife and I have a number of businesses, of a private school, an animation company, and a faith-based movie production studio, where over the last few years we've taken on some of the bigger issues in society, like the transgender athletes in girls' sports. I wrote and produced a movie called And God Made Man with Dean Cain and Kevin Sorbo, and we went after it. I'm not afraid to take on the big stuff. We have a very interesting time in our lives right now. We know things are deeply unaffordable. We know where a lot of that was caused. But one of the biggest things is we're realizing more and more by the day, we don't have a taxing problem, we have a spending problem. We have a fraud problem. J.D. Vance's task force just mentioned this morning, they found $250 billion with a B since inception. They have clawed back $56 billion so far in payments that were about to be made. I'm estimating, as we look around with the quality Leering centers in all states, the daycare centers, the Medicare fraud, they're saying now in California alone, 9 million of the people on Medicare are not eligible. Unbelievable the amount of fraud. 8 million people on Social Security benefits do not qualify. I'm estimating we have $2 trillion in yearly fraud, waste, and abuse before we even think about cutting the budget. Balancing this budget and making it so that our biggest expense every year is not the interest on the national debt is possible. It just needs people up there going to work, people with a business background, continuing to enforce immigration laws, because we've seen what that's caused. We just saw a report a couple weeks ago from the Federal Reserve Bank that the Biden surge, which they counted only at 7 million, which we know was closer to 20, caused home prices to rise up to 30% and rents up to 20. So there are a lot of things that are going to be really easy fixes right off the bat. I'm very excited they're going to be retiring about 60 to 70 rhinos this season that aren't going to be running. So it is time for young, fresh energy, and I can't believe at 57 I'm saying I'm young, fresh energy, but I've looked around the halls of Congress, and by golly, I'm young up there. I'm excited to get up there, but something has happened in the last 6 weeks that happened again last night in 3 different districts that is changing what we actually need in DC right now. The Democrat Socialists won another few elections last night. They just announced this morning they called the race in Michigan for Senate. The Democrat challenger up there, Abdul El-Sayed, who is an avowed Muslim Brotherhood supporter, said that we deserve 9/11, has won his race. So now we're looking at what we're going to need in DC is not just pragmatic minds. When you have, the DSA now has said, their senior leadership has come right out and said, our ultimate goal is communism. We're going to need fighters up there. Someone that, but I'll just go ahead and ask, how many people, if I get up there, would like to see us eliminate sanctuary cities and states? Thank you. Ban Sharia law and the expansion of the Muslim Brotherhood and radical Islam. And the last one, we've got these radical judges across the country that are blocking the Trump agenda all the way down to the traffic court. The Supreme Court has come right out and said, you do not have authority, and they're still doing it. So thankfully, we have members of our legislature that are stepping up to say, you're impeached, you have to go. We have laws in this country. Your job is to interpret them, not to overstep your boundaries. So there are a lot of things that need to be fixed, and we need fighters up there to do it. As I look at this, though, the Democrat Socialists, then even the Democrats, some of them are coming out and saying, you're a little far left for us. There's a DSA member running in District 20 right now in Florida that is so far left that he's beating Debbie Wasserman Schultz because she's not far left enough. That's how, they asked the DSA if they would vote for AOC for president. They said she's not far left enough. That's where we are. But they've put out their goal. They put out their goal and they've said they want to defund the police, open the borders, Medicare for all. They want to empty the prisons. They have a plan. What I'm proposing is that the Republicans should have a plan. I want to take this back to the contract with America, back to the time when we laid out the 10-point plan, the things we're actually going to accomplish. A good congressman should be up there submitting 30 to 50 pieces of legislation every year. In this district alone, the last 17 years, we've submitted 3 to 5. 3 to 5. So I'm excited to get up there and get to work, but I would really like to see, and I am just throwing this out there so Speaker Johnson sees it on the internet, Forwarding America Resolution, the FAR. It is time to take us far. The president is bringing in trillions of dollars of an investment. We need to get rid of all the H-1B visa holders, all the ones taking American jobs, get the foreign students out, continue to build trade schools in this country, tech for this country. Get the materials, become energy independent. We already have so many places. There's mines in Alaska and various places across this country. We won't need Chinese materials for the tech boom. He's got chip makers coming in. This could be a golden age if we can get behind and get all the policies in place to solidify this country for the future. I'd like to see education furthered, the things that we're doing on the local level, but to get the indoctrination out of the national level, start to defund some of these universities that are poisoning our kids, sending them out of the world with degrees that don't do anything, with $250,000 to $300,000 in debt. There are a laundry list of things we could put together that would take this country to heights we have never seen, and I think we're poised to do that. We just need leaders that will get out in front, actually get on the, I want to be on record, I want to be on the hook. I'd like to be someone that says, here's my plan. Whether it passes or not, I had one. I didn't go up there for the status quo to melt into the woodwork and wait a year and a half until I can fundraise and campaign and run again and stay in job. I'd like to see term limits. I'd like to see term limits. I'm glad they passed the ban on insider trading, but there are a lot of things that could be done, and I'm looking forward to getting up there and getting to work for this district. The other thing my wife and I have talked about, we want to have transparency in both the form of town halls and a weekly video. Something that speaks directly to this video that says, hi, this is what we did, this is what we'd like to do, and this is how it's going to benefit you. So you'll know exactly what we're doing for you. If I'm on a government paycheck, you should be able to look over my shoulder and say, what'd you do this week? So that's what I'd like to bring to this issue. Thank you very much.